All right, here we are again. Happy Tuesday, everybody. So really excited to go through this. Today, we're talking about all things measurable activities and accountability. So everybody knows kind of like that 80-20 rule and how much of your day theoretically should be spent on income generating activities, right? And obviously the answer is 80%. Whether you are a solo agent, whether you are on a team, it's of any size, to us, it really doesn't matter. It's all about building in those measurable activity plans. So we're going to go through a really tight activity plan today and just show you guys kind of like, essentially the 4 C's of accountability. So as people are popping in, I know we kind of have a lot of new faces. Can everybody just take a second and just type in the chat where exactly you are in North America or in the world? Because we've had a lot of people reach out lately and ask for scripting partners or like networking, all that kind of fun stuff. So put in the chat where you're from. And again, if you see somebody in your neck of the woods that you don't know, I would encourage you, send them a message and start building that, that mastermind. So there we go. All right, we're filling up. So measurable activity plans. So my question for everybody is this. And again, you can either put a Y for yes or an N for no, but I'm just curious, who right now is running on a very specific set of measurable activities day after day? So throw it in the chat, yes or no. All right, I'm seeing it. Oh, I got to see our very first no. We got it. All right, we got some yeses. We got some yeses. So again, this is one of those things that you don't know what you don't know. And the beautiful thing about what we figured out is there's a bit of a recipe. And we're going to talk a bit about that recipe today. Now, before we get into that, I know naturally everybody's going to have that same objection. So what do you guys think the one objection I hear more than anything else when I roll out a measurable activity plan? What do people tell us? Time.
You get interrupted a lot.
Yeah, I get interrupted. Time, not enough time, not enough time. So a lot of people talk about time management. Now, you'll never, ever hear me say the words time management. To me, that's like nails on a chalkboard. I can't stand that. For anybody who sat in through our business planning sessions, I always talk about priority management, right? There's really not much you can do to get more time. You can try, like you can manage time as far as I'm concerned, like you can manage the tides. And I bring this up in business planning as well, right? In the words of Metallica, time marches on. There's nothing you can do to actually stop it. But what you can do is manage your priorities inside that finite space. So rule number 1, time blocking, right? Become a very effective time blocker. So what that means is taking all of your measurable activities that you do in a day, building them into your calendar and making sure that they're repeating. Extremely important, right? Repeat that piece. Because what we see a lot of people do is they might even put one thing in the calendar, but then it gets deleted or it gets removed or it just doesn't happen, right? People kind of look at that element like I can remove it versus shuffle it around. If you need to shuffle it around, that's okay. But honestly, your measurable activities should be treated the same way that you would treat an appointment. Like I can guarantee you, if you were on a listing appointment, would you pick up the phone? If you're in the car with buyers, would you answer the phone? Well, again, think why is that? Well, you're engaged and you're focused on one activity, right? Does anybody know what the actual definition, or I should say definition, or what focus stands for? And I apologize if I'm swearing before noon, but focus stands for fuck off because you suck. Everything else just gets burnt and you look at one specific activity. It's impossible to focus on more than one thing at a time, but we try. We get it. Dan, Mackenzie. I see. Right? You get so laser focused on one thing. And then you're like, well, I'm going to try to integrate another piece, right? So I'm going to prospect, plus I'm going to respond to text messages. So I'm going to prospect, plus check my email. I'm going to prospect, plus make lunch while I'm doing it. Well, again, you cannot focus on 2 things. Humans are naturally junk at multitasking. But once you build that into your calendar, that is the first step around accountability, making it visual, right? Know what you need to do. And then it comes down to having that discipline to turn everything else off. Treat prospecting like an appointment. And I know we say that a lot. Some people listen, some people don't. That's okay. But those people that don't, look at the amount of conversations you had throughout the week versus somebody who does. And if you want to pop in on some of our morning team meetings, you're more than welcome to, where we start talking about those accountability pieces. What is it that you said you were going to do versus what you did do and what got in the way? But as far as I'm concerned, time management, it's not a thing. So number one, get really, really deep on time blocking and being able to, again, increase that level of focus. And how do you do that? You minimize distractions. So the next thing is actually, again, when it comes to knowing what you need to do, is having an activity plan. And some people put in there, yes, 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 you actually have a plan. Great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share out my screen here, and you're going to see an example of an amazing activity plan. Now, activity plans are great because when you have an activity plan, again, it just sort of amplifies that level of clarity. So I'm just going to dig it up here. So activity plan. Okay, so here is a sample plan. And again, anybody who sat in through any type of business planning sessions, this is what we coach to. Can everybody see the plan? All right, so let's start breaking this down a little bit. So this is one of those things. If you have a phone in your hand, take a picture of this. You need this. For anybody who does not have a plan or is lacking any type of clarity in your day, this is what you need. So we're going to be sharing this on our social media. So you'll see this on our Instagram and on in our Sims mastermind group. But this is what we're going to talk about today and spend a little bit of time. What are you doing daily, weekly, monthly? So number one, again, that ask is 80% of your day spent in income generating activities. And really sit back and analyze that. Now, there is one true way to analyze it, and I have run this activity before. Sit down and write down what you do in a day. For anybody who can sit there and tell me that there's not enough time in the day, how long is a day in real estate, right? Is it an 8-hour day? Is it a 6-hour day, a 12-hour day? So put in the chat, how many hours a day are you actually engaging in real estate activities? 5-6 days a week? Kind of curious, right? Is this a part-time racket or is this a full-time job? So here's the twist, right? Building these activities in. So number one, daily, 10 conversations a day. There's your benchmark. If you want to know how many people you should be talking to in a day, well, I'm going to remove everything and just tell you right now, it's 10. 10 documented, noteworthy conversations. You should be sending 3 sphere-based texts out to people in like the greatest database on the planet. You should be sending 3 of those out prior to 9 a.m. Is there anybody that's doing that right now? Is there anybody reaching out to your sphere day in, day out? So some people do, some people don't, right? So yeah, not doing as many as I could. Yeah, distractions, exactly, right? So again, really important that you're texting the people in your sphere. You're staying top of mind. And if anybody wants to know what to send out, a really simple piece, what's new and exciting? Hope you're staying happy and healthy. Let's connect. Put that in the notes section of your phone, copy and paste, start at A and work your way down. Pretty basic. But a lot of people, they don't do that activity because they just don't know what to do, right? When in doubt, or if you don't know what to do, most people won't do anything at all. So that is the world's easiest way to leverage your sphere. What's new and exciting? Hope you're staying happy and healthy. Let's connect, right? Really, really simple. So next, 30 minutes of social media creeping. I cannot tell you the value of this. Now, I'm not talking like just scroll through Facebook, whatever, just to see who's doing what, right? I'm talking like get deep, like I mean, like stalker in a tree fort type deep, right? I want you to know exactly what everybody's doing at any given time. And when you find things that you think are interesting or people are sharing a bit of themselves, like and comment, right? Does anybody know how long a proper Facebook, I know there's a science, it's like anything, there's like a science, a rhythm in life. Does anybody know how many words you should comment to create optimum social media engagement? There is a number. There we go. Jonathan, my man, minimum 4 words, minimum 4 words. Good job, Daryl Bailey, 4. Look at that, you guys. 4 words. Congrats. That's not a comment. Good job. Not a comment. Great recipe. I'd love to know where you got it from. That's a comment. Be engaging. But so many times we like, and we'll just be like, looks good. Good job. So happy, right? Hashtag winning or whatever we put in there. Really make sure it is minimum of 4 words. 30 minutes a day, like literally turn your phone off, walk away from your activities, sign on your laptop or your desktop, minimize the distractions and do nothing but creep. Super important. Now from that 30 minutes, now this is an activity for rock stars only. Out of that 30 minutes, 1 thoughtful send out. Just send 1 thoughtful send out. Now, when I say that, yeah, I'm talking about like writing in a card. Again, simple pieces, once a day. Go to your local dollar store, your Walmart, wherever you are in the world. They've got a place that you can go and you can buy bulk cards. Even better, if you've got a great brand that you're proud of and blank cards or postcards made up, use them. Send 1 per day. Just 1. And everybody asked me the same question around this activity. They're like, yeah, Joe, that's great. But how do I find somebody's address? What if I don't know their address? What if I don't know where they live? Okay, let me put it out to you guys. If you don't know where someone lives, or you want to send like a congratulations or a condolence or a happy birthday and throw like a scratch and win in it, or throw a $5 Starbucks card because somebody's son graduated grade 3. You want to buy him a Frappuccino and you want to send that out. Where do you find their address? Yulia, love it. Kevin, love it, right? Ask. It's the easiest thing to do. Hey, Dan, saw that your pug Mushu had his 2nd birthday last week. I love to send out a little, a little note and a little treat for him inside. What's the best address for me to either send that or drop that off?
123 Banana Street.
123 Banana Street. Amazing. So here's the next piece. If I said that, or somebody received that message, how many times would you be checking that mailbox over the next week, right? Automatically, you've all of a sudden elevated yourself in your sphere, right? Imagine if you did that for somebody's kids. Saw that your daughter graduated grade 6. Love to put a lottery ticket in there for her college fund, and love to throw a Starbucks card in just to say congrats. If somebody did that for my kids, holy geez. And I'll challenge anybody who tells me that kids aren't decision makers in a house. You watch. So get that out, 1 per day. Go to the mailbox on Wednesday or Friday, drop them off. Very, very simple, but probably the most impactful activity other than actually texting people in your sphere. So that's what you need to be doing in a day, right? Can we agree that this is something that can be done by noon, these items, right? I think so. I look at like our inside sales team. I look at, the agents that we coach and mentor. Again, I'm not asking you to like build a rocket ship here. These are activities that should theoretically, between 10 conversations, 3 sphere-based texts, get those out by 9, right? 30 minutes of social media creeping. Chances are you're laying in bed before you get up and you're doing that right then and there. 1 thoughtful send out. That should, again, how long does that take? But build each one of those activities in your calendar. Don't just say prospecting, leveraging sphere. Be specific. Build each one in. So weekly, 2 to 3 hours of skills-based training or practice, right? Practice. Yeah, you might be the franchise player, but we're talking about practice. Very, very simple. right? You know, there's this amazing clip that somebody shared with me about 2 weeks ago now, and I've watched it a million times. Everybody know who Steph Curry is? Maybe some people don't. Steph Curry holds the record for the most three-point shots in the history of basketball, right? Golden State Warriors probably going to be knocking out the Dallas Mavericks pretty quick here. But a few years back, Steph Curry had made 77 three-pointers in a row, starting from practice. So through the warm-up, he started nailing his threes. Through the game, didn't miss one. 77 in a row. And I believe they were playing Houston, and they were down by 21 points. So what did they do? In the fourth quarter, just kept giving the ball to Steph Curry. And he just kept getting them in. Houston lost that game. Golden State won, but they won by 3. And when SportsCenter went back and watched the clips, anybody know what they saw? Steph Curry had his eyes closed. Each one of those shots in the fourth quarter, his eyes were closed. Why do you guys think his eyes were closed?
Focus.
Yeah, focus, right? He reverted back to practice. Like there were people guarding him that were like 3-4 inches taller. But what he did is he reverted to what he did in practice. What you do in practice, you will do in real life. So I'll ask you, are you sharpening your skills 2 to 3 hours a week? I would include this as a skills sharpen. Are you in our calls? Are you in our mastermind sessions? Are you engaging with other people? Do you have an accountability partner? Do you have a scripting partner? Who's helping elevate your game? Who's helping you practice? And I'm shocked by the amount of people that say, well, I just practice on my clients. Damn. So are you a Steph Curry or are you practicing on your clients? Just a thought. So 1 hour of social media content planning per week. Have a content calendar. So important. So many times people are like, well, social media is one of my marketing pillars. Great. What are you going to post this week? I don't know. What content are you going to make next week? Not sure. Probably take a picture of my shoes and my motorcycle. That's my plan. Let's go. Right? So have that content planning calendar available at all times, but commit 1 hour per week of actually putting it to use. You should know the content that you're going to plan for like 4th of July. You should know that by now. Right? We had May long weekend up here in Canada. Right? What did the content say? Our Christmas content, for example, we filmed in October. We could all get hit by a bus tomorrow and you're still going to see us probably for the next 6 months. Have it well thought out. 1 hour of content planning per week. 1 to 2 hours of social media creation per week. Dedicate that time to actually going out and doing it. Build it into your calendar. Right? Build it in. Okay, every Wednesday afternoon at 1 and Friday at 11 a.m. I'm actually going to get into Canva, create the content. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to build a newsletter. I'm going to get in there and I'm going to go, film my YouTube video. But again, having it time blocked, so important. 3 to 5 social media posts per week, right? Some people post every channel every day. That's great. Some people are like, wow, I post once a week because that's just what I have capacity for. That's cool too. But the key, consistency. Stay consistent to what you know you can do. And 1 YouTube video per week, right? That's what we're running. And those YouTube videos, like these sessions, we kind of break them down and it becomes TikTok content. It becomes Instagram. It becomes Facebook. We repurpose what we're doing by making YouTube content. It's the craziest thing. So monthly, every month you should have time set aside to review your VIP program. Is it implemented? Who needs to be updated? Is there people you need to move in? Is there people you need to move out? Who are your A, B, and C clients? We had the most amazing mastermind group, probably, I think it was about 3 weeks ago. We had just 2 absolute dominant rock stars, Devin Babineau up here in Canada and Deb Lucci down in Massachusetts. And we asked them, what was one thing, if you could go back, that you would redo? Both absolute dominant rock star agents said the same thing: better database management. more names, more opportunity. I'd have everybody in there. I'd know who my A, B, and C clients are, and I would have plans built around them. Every month, document the time, go in, go through that program. So one newsletter to your database or your sphere once a month. Now, some people do like every 2 weeks. Some people even do weekly, but as a minimum standard, one per month, right? We use MailChimp. That's where our newsletters go out. Great little system. And then next, 1 to 2 community events. Now, when I say community events, I don't mean like, it could be a client appreciation event. That's your call. But you need to be doing 1 to 2 things in your community each month. Now, I'll give you some examples. And again, I apologize for anybody who's heard me kind of ramble on about this before, but community events are so impactful. It puts you in front of people that you've really never met before that share a same passion. So some examples. Tomorrow, our whole team is volunteering at a soup kitchen. Some people are there for 30 minutes. Some people are there for 2 hours, but we're all going. That's one. Another piece, last year, my wife and I took a cheese making class. So I learned how to make mozzarella. Every year I try for a new skill. But what it does is it puts me in front of a whole bunch of people that I've never met before. So last year I learned how to make mozzarella, bocconcini, burrata, and ricotta cheese. So now I make it every Sunday. Kind of a cool thing. Now I get to pass that on to my kids. But again, it put me in front of people that I could talk to that I would have never met. This year, my skill was taking dance classes. So I started taking dance lessons. Now, here's the funny thing. So in the dance class that I'm in, I was kind of embarrassed. So I took private lessons. So it's just me and the instructor. I've done it for about 2.5 months. We have essentially pulled about $4 million in volume from my dance instructor. Just by showing up. We have a listing that's going to be going up in September for a 5-acre like executive home. And she wants to buy another 3 acres. So she wants to upgrade to an 8-acre estate. And here's the funny thing is she was also the dance instructor for Jason Samard and his wife when they did like their first dance for their wedding. But yet I got the call. Kind of an interesting play, I guess, but I'm not going to rub it in too hard. But again, right, get in the community. We were on a dodgeball team. The dodgeball team's still running, but Jason and I started on a dodgeball team about 3 years ago. We've pulled 11 deals from a dodgeball team just by showing up and having fun, right? I'm also part of a Freemasons Lodge here in town. Plus, I'm part of the Italian Heritage Society. And on top of that, I have like a motorcycle, like a riders group of motorcycle enthusiasts that I ride with on every second Sunday and Wednesday. It's not a biker gang, it's a bunch of people with like blacked out Harleys. We all ride together. But again, gets me in front of people with a shared passion. I can't stand networking for the sake of networking. You'll never see me at like a chamber meeting or a BNI. Like to me, I'd rather chew tinfoil. It ain't gonna happen. But it's really important that you're doing something that you're chasing a passion, because people like to talk to people they like, and people love talking to people with a shared passion. So what are you doing in the community? And I don't want to hear any of this bullshit around COVID. During the pandemic, if a bunch of 70-year-old Italian men can figure out Zoom, whatever group or organization you want to belong to, I'm sure they've figured it out. But what are you doing in a month? So that is a typical measurable activity plan for new agents, existing agents, but this adds a little bit of clarity as to what you should be doing in a day to maintain that, again, 80% of your day is in income generation mode. So accountability, this is where people fall down, right? Like I could ask, hey, and put in the chat, who's going to do this? I'm going to guarantee you, anybody who puts it, be like, oh, me, I'm going to do it. I'm all in. Let's go. Choose your rhetoric. People are going to put it, let's rock. I got this. Awesome. But what it comes down to is that level of accountability. And this is typically where people really, really fall down, right? You need clarity, commitment, consequence. That is how you establish accountability. If you are missing one of those elements, I'm going to tell you, all the shit you want to do is never going to get done. If my wife doesn't yell at me because I didn't take the garbage out, I'm probably not going to take the garbage out anymore. Just the way it goes. So number one, clarity. Know your goals, right? Post your activities, make it visual. Take this piece, stick it on a wall, put it inside your business plan if you've made one with us before, but get it out there, make it visual. The universe will not conspire to deliver anything to those who don't ask. Next, time block all activities. Show some level of commitment. If you do not time block it, it will not happen. I'm a really firm believer that what goes into a calendar actually gets completed. It's a really crazy concept, I know. But I love when people are like, yeah, I'm on it. Show me your calendar, and it's blank. Or they've got a white board on their wall where like, I'm going to write down what I'm going to do in a day. Oh, I use this paper planner. Don't. People need that reminder, that digital reminder that pops up on your phone. Hey, Joe, in 5 minutes, you need to be on a call at 11. Hey, Joe, in 10 minutes, here's what you need to be doing, right? Prepare for that mental shift. Time block, get it in, make it repeating. You should never start a Monday not knowing what the rest of your week looks like, right? Humans are creatures of habit. Build that in. So next, around commitment and consequence, create a partner-based system. Right? Like if you don't do what you're supposed to do, who finds out about it? Like I'm okay letting myself down. I'm totally cool. Trust me, you don't get to be like 240 pounds by not letting yourself down at some point. We're okay letting ourselves down, but I'll never let somebody on my team down. And I'll always do my best to not let an accountability partner down. Like for example, if Dan and I were accountability partners, you bet your ass Dan would fall off the rails before I would. Guarantee it. Because I'd be like, shit, I don't want to let Dan down. But I'm okay letting myself down. Dan might be okay letting himself down. But when you've got that shared accountability, takes it to that next level. And I'll even go so far as to say this. I bet I get 15 to 20 text messages either at noon or at, let's say, between 4 and 4:30 from just different coaching students, EXP like expansion partners, people who are that like, I just need somebody to text. Please, I just need somebody to text and create that level of accountability. And I'm honestly more than happy. If you want that, I'll put my phone number in the chat and you can text me your accountability. Text me your win of the day. Text me your contacts. Text me where you fell down. Sometimes I'll just reply with a thumbs up. Sometimes it'll be such a crazy response, I won't respond at all. One conversation, Joe, that I'm like, did you even get out of bed? I won't even respond, right? But also at the same time, hey, great job. Love it. Keep it up. What's the plan for tomorrow, right? Really important. Have that culture of accountability, even if you're a one-person show. If you've got somebody in your area, man, I've heard some people create accountability groups and they're like, hey, every time I don't report or don't hit my numbers, I'm going to e-transfer you $5. It's out there. You want to throw a little consequence on it? Throw some cash behind it. Bet on yourself. But I've got tons of coaching students that are doing that as well. E-transferring $5 all over the place, right? Hold me accountable. So again, what happens if the activities aren't met? What's the consequence? And if you can sit back and say, well, currently there is no consequence, well, then guess what? You're never going to have accountability. It can't exist. That's why it's so important to have an accountability partner. If I don't do this, what happens? Like if I don't go to the gym, well, I feel like crap. I'll feel like crap by the end of the day. I need to not go like a week. And then I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? Right? What is that consequence? So for example, on our team, we have trackers that go out and the trackers come back in every Thursday between like 9 and 10 a.m. You get a straggler now and again, but I'm always following up. If the trackers from the agents aren't filled out, they're removed from client care rotation the next week. You kind of get starved out. So like there could be the world's greatest listing that comes in place and you will not be considered, right? So what is the consequence in your organization? But remember, whenever you're looking at measurable activities, this is kind of the last point on this sheet, try to have your proactive activities, have those done by noon. Because one thing I see people struggle on like day in, day out is like, it's 4 p.m. and you're still trucking away on your contacts. insanely important. Have it done by noon. So to kind of recap, that is a measurable activity plan. That's what it should look like. It needs to be built into your calendar, item by item. You need to have an accountability partner who's actually holding your feet to the fire, and try your best to have those activities in by noon. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. So let's kind of open it up a little bit. So is there anybody who had other measurable activity items that we didn't go through that you guys are doing in a day? Or is there anything that we're missing? Well, would you look at that? Apparently we've got it all covered. So where are you guys falling down in accountability?
Social media.
Social media. What do you think's holding you back, Dan?
Oh, just simply not carving out time for it, not making it a priority,
Yeah.
not committing to it.
So what can you do going forward to make it a priority?
Just that, put it in the calendar. And also I think prep too. I think I like what you guys do, how you're prepped months in advance, because I'm like, oh, it'd be nice to post something, and then I just maybe don't have inspiration or viable content in that moment. Whereas if it was already like, cool, it's whatever Wednesday, post it, you know what I mean? I think that would help.
I think that's awesome, but you should actually have whatever Wednesday and build that in. I love that. That's freaking awesome. We used to have just the tip Tuesday. And every Tuesday we would run like a life hack. Half of mine didn't work, but we still ended up posting them. But again, that was kind of the charm. I kind of like whatever Wednesday and just post like a random fact, post something, right? I love it, man. But yeah, that's just it. Building it into the calendar and that level of accountability. Who's built it in alongside with you, right? So love it, love it. Somebody else in here, yeah, like Ruth, consistency and consequence, right? It's kind of hard to hold yourself accountable. And that's the biggest thing, right? Is who's holding you accountable. And like I said, if anybody needs that phone number, like I'm more than happy to put my number in the chat for anybody that wants it. And I'll be your accountability partner. I'll actually sit down. I'll help you build that into your calendar. And really, it's that easy. Take what we just showed and just get it in item by item. Make it repeating. And then at the end of the day, where's that message that pops up that's like, I got to text Joe. I got to text Dan or Jonathan or Deb or Kevin, right? So another great place is you can actually go into our Sims Mastermind page, and there's people who are asking for accountability partners. And it breaks my heart when I see somebody post something like that and it just goes unanswered. Because I know 99% of the people on that page are struggling with accountability, struggling with measurable activities, struggling with consistency, right? There's safety in numbers. The other thing I see on that page is people who are like, well, I need a scripting partner, right? You can go through and you can see how many people have put that in. It's like one person's like, yeah, give me a show, maybe Wednesday at noon, maybe, right? If you need support around scripting, there's some great resources for you. Again, that Sims Mastermind page on Facebook. There's people right now asking for scripting partners. The other place that you can go is we run an inside sales agent call. So it's called the ISA zone. Every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific, there's some scripting elements in there. Also reach out to us, right? I'm always more than happy to come in and work with people like one-on-one or in groups and help you sort of with those lead conversion scripts too, right? So again, it's like, who are you asking for help? Who's in your board of directors? Because that can also help fix consistency. But the other thing is, and I hate saying this, but do you have the hustle in you? It's really hard to stay motivated sleeping in silk sheets. So who's lighting that fire under your ass? Or are you just complacent with what you have? Because if you do what you always did, you're going to get what you always got. So what's your level of commitment look like as well, right? It's hard to hold somebody accountable who doesn't give a shit. So surround yourself with people who have that same like hustle and grind mentality. So like I said, choose your board of directors very, very wisely. So any other questions for me around consistency, accountability, or priority management? If there's no questions, I'm just going to sit here and look handsome for the next like 10 minutes. So I'm not like a Daryl Bailey handsome, but I'm working on it.
Easier with that haircut now.
Yeah, I know. It's I keep trying to put my hair behind my ears. So it's 2 weeks to make a habit, 2 weeks to break it. Definitely. So if there's no other questions, what I'm going to do, we'll make this this session available. Oh, here we go. Any more specifics on how your team defines a conversation that's notable? Yeah, that's a really great question. So anything that moves a conversation forward, and I know like there's no, like Keith, there's no silver bullet, but just something that's noteworthy and worth remembering. And Langdon, can I pick on you for a second, man?
Yeah, sometimes their text messages are notable. It'll often tell you a lot about the person, just how they talk, kind of terms they're using. It just helps our agents basically know what level the client's on. A lot of times, if they're using a bunch of emojis and stuff like that, just little things like that, those are useful. So it just helps you converse with somebody later on down the road. So I think that most conversations, even text conversations, are notable. And another thing to note too is just if certain properties that people are looking at, if you note that MLS number or that, the property identifier, when you get responses from the agents about it down the road, or if anything comes up down the road, you can easily search your notes for that MLS number or that address, and then know who to reach out to with your whatever information you got that day. So yeah, notes are crucial, and yeah, any contact is really good. If you can just make a note, like just spoke to them today about this or that, might help you down the road too, just to know when to go back to in your conversation as well.
Yeah, definitely. Right. So, I mean, ultimately anything that moves a conversation ahead. And also when you're looking at conversations, we sort of always revert back to what's talking on the phone. Some of the best conversations I'll probably have today are going to be via text. Right. So again, if you have a really great text exchange, that's a conversation. And just make sure when you're reaching out and you're talking to people in your database and your sphere, ask people like, what's your best method of communication? So going forward, what's the best way for me to get a hold of you? Right? Note that. A lot of people don't ask that question, right? Adjust your style. People just kind of assume like, I'm going to pick up the phone and call and you're going to answer. And then we get butthurt when nobody calls us back. So fun fact.
Yeah, if you can note their preferred method of communication, that's good too. Usually if you talk to somebody through text and then you get them on the phone, I'll even though I know it's a cell phone because they've been texting me back, I'll always ask the question anyways, and ask if it's a good mode of communication for them going forward.
Yeah, definitely. Like if I signed up on any one of your sites right now and you guys gave me a shout, again, like 11:42, I'm on this call, I'm not going to answer my phone. You can bulldog me all you want. You can phone me 5 times if you want. I'm not going to answer, right? But if you send me a text, the second this is done, I can get on it and I can be on my way. So really important, find out the best method of communication, make sure you make a note of that. So that's it, guys. Oh yeah, find you, yeah, messengers on Instagram, absolutely. Targeted messaging for sure. Yeah, you're totally right. Amazing way to build rapport. Love it. So we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna get this session wrapped up, give you guys back some time. You're going to see this measurable activity. You're going to see that on our social media channels. And again, just time block, find an accountability partner, and then just stick to it, right? Have that consequence. So I hope this was helpful, everybody. Have an amazing day.
Thanks, Joe. You too, buddy.